Welcome to episode 83 of the Curios Cast. We're joined by guest Faz for the 5th time. This week we talk about Thai fecal eating cults in Thailand, an alligator who breaks into a garage and steals tons of Diet Coke, and why you shouldn't be putting your testicles in the sun. No George this week?
Nah.
Not here, couldn't make it. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, well, what I heard was he took one too many mushrooms in Amsterdam, and now he thinks the world is actually the inside of a whale.
Yeah.
So he's just walking around trying to get out of this whale as far as he knows. So, but with any luck, by next week, he'll have worked way out.
I think
the
that's
mushrooms
what
would have worn
happens
off.
when you do mushrooms as a suppository. I think that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
And, a little bit of an extra hit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all right. Last week, we replaced him with Lyndon, the most
Yes.
eccentric man in Britain.
Hype.
And this week, probably not the most eccentric man or woman in Britain, but it's Faz. Good old Faz
Hello.
Brown. Welcome back.
Thanks. I am wearing quite an eccentric shirt, though.
It's a nice shirt.
You are,
I
yes.
Thank you.
approve.
It's a bit Technicolor Dreamcoat, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, but less Philip Schofield. Yeah, it's a Camden Market's finest. So
Nice.
Noel Fielding would be very proud of me.
I like it.
This is your 5th appearance on
Is
the
it?
Curios Cast.
Almost as many as George.
Yeah. I think it's as many as Lawford. 1,
Wow.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, Lawford had 7 episodes.
Oh,
Okay.
you
No,
know,
actually, he only had 6. So one more episode, and you're just as curious as Paul Lawford.
Wow. That's
A founding
somehow an
member.
insult to me, and I'm not sure why.
Well, we all know how it goes. Weird news.
Yeah.
We've got 3 weird news stories for you this week. And as usual, Baz, would you like to go first?
It would be an honour. Okay, so I actually have 2. They're both very, very short, but I was going to.
It's very
throw
George
it out.
James-esque of you. So
Huh?
it's very George James-esque of you to bring multiple stories. I like you're
Thank
summoning
you.
the spirit. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I would read out the headlines of both, and then you guys can vote.
Classic George James move, that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you did call me George in the test before we started.
True, yeah.
And I'm still aggravated. Right, so the first one. Woman marries her cat to get round pet-hating landlords.
Yeah.
And the second one, alligator breaks into Florida family's garage, starts chugging Diet Coke.
Well, it's going to have to be the second one. So the first story you mentioned, we done an episode with James a couple weeks ago, and me and Rob both brought the same story to the table, and it was the woman marrying the cat.
No, not Deborah Hodge.
It's done the rounds.
Yeah, old
Oh.
Debs has been about.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh.
A nice, 3-piece there.
It's
I mean,
good job you
Maybe
brought
we
2,
could get
isn't it?
Deb on here.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard the story about the alligator chugging Diet Coke.
No, me neither.
So
No, you wouldn't have done, because this dropped
hot off the press.
hot off the press,
Wow.
aka 9 days ago. So I mean, that's still at least lukewarm.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Tepid.
But by the time this episode comes out, it's going to be about 20 days ago. So
Whoa.
striking while the iron is freezing cold.
Okay, so as I say, this isn't a particularly long article. I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. It is a classic Florida story. So an unwanted reptile guest helped itself to one Florida's family's stash of drinks after bursting into a garage last week. Karen and Jamie Dobson were at their Collier County home watching TV on Wednesday night when, as they explained to WSVN News, they heard a loud crash. It was so loud, in fact, that they initially assumed it must have been a car crash.
Wow.
There's a great quote from Karen here. Karen told the outlet, "The crash was so big, like Wicked."
What?
What does that mean?
Fabulous. What they found after checking the garage was something that the Chicago natives were far from accustomed to. I opened the garage door
Chicago.
about a quarter way, peeked my head in, and there's the alligator, Jamie's added, according to the news. Very quickly closed the door, and Karen said, "We have an alligator in our garage," something like that. Coming from the Midwest, we really haven't experienced before.
Wait, so they're in Chicago, or they're a Chicago
No,
pair?
they're from Chicago,
Right,
and they've moved to Florida.
I was going to say, yeah, this is well a Florida thing, surely. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Because people that are like grown up in Florida and lived there their whole lives, they're so used to alligators just knocking about the streets every now and then. Like they'll just be like, "Oh fuck, another one." There's someone called pest control or whatever.
I saw a video of some guy like getting one in a bucket, and then like he did it himself. He was like this big bucket, and he was just like it was obviously, I guess it was a small one, but it was still a fucking alligator.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that. Have you seen the one of the alligator knocking out a police officer?
No.
Oh, there's like, it's obviously like similar to this. It's gone into someone's house. So, the police have got like a pickup truck parked on the driveway, and then there's 3 like police officers picking it up, and they've tied up its mouth so it can't like bite anyone, and they're putting it in the back of the pickup truck, and obviously going to go and drop it off back in the swamp somewhere or whatever. And as they're like putting it into the bed of the truck, it just like flips out and it headbutts a police officer, and he just fucking goes flying. His sunglasses flick off, and he's just like, and he's out cold. And then it's still wriggling, and the tail like whips another guy, and he goes falling back on the floor. And the other guy just kind of drops the alligator, and they're like, "Fuck!" And the guys fucking, they must be so.
And you think you could beat one in a fight?
Oh yeah.
I think some of them.
No chance. Well, maybe like a tiny little one, maybe, but that's not the game, is it?
I'll use my wits.
I thought you said I'll use my whip, like very Indiana Jones.
Yeah. If I had a whip, I'd work to my benefit, I think.
I mean, you said about like, I was thinking about this a little bit the other day, actually, like revisiting it in my head. I think maybe Basey Josh brought it up with your channel. I don't know, someone. But it's like if you were like, say if you like got it and you got his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Then what? You got no other weapons. You can't how do you physically cause harm to an alligator?
Yeah, they're sheer muscle as well. It'll wriggle you off.
Yeah.
Poke its eyes out.
And they can somersault.
Poke its eyes out. Then what? How'd you kill it? How'd you kill an alligator with your bare hands? Strangle it. You wouldn't be able to strangle it, would you? Like?
No, you flip it over. It's on its belly now.
How are you going to flip it over?
Start digging it. Start digging it in the.
Yeah, it's on its back. I'm like kneeling on its bottom of its chin, so his mouth's closed. I'm just pounding it in the neck and in the belly.
No chance. You'd get tired before it would, and then it would death roll. It would death roll, wouldn't it? And then
Tom, it has trained its whole life for this exact scenario.
And I haven't.
You're just some guy.
I've thought about it a few times.
No, absolutely.
I don't think that translates to like on the field combat training.
Well, I'm not picking on a full-size trained experienced alligator. I'm picking on one fresh out the egg.
I don't think you get the option in the game. Like,
no, it's a randomly selected alligator. That means there's a good chance it could be a youngling.
I don't know if I've ever brought this up. You said about it. You think about, a lot. I've thought about it a few times. I once called in Absolute Radio. I think it was. They were doing like a phone in about like, what would you do in a zombie apocalypse? And I rang in and was like, I told them what I'd do. I was like, I'd go straight for a boat. I'd get down at the docks. I'd like steal a boat, or I'd swim out there, like someone's like leisure boat. And then I was like, and then I'd make, because zombies can't swim, so you'd be safe. You'd sleep sound, and then you'd make periodic like trips. You could like sail up around until you found like a harbour. And or you'd know where like some shops were, and you'd have to make a trip into town. It'd be like a tactical trip into town, then you'd come back.
Yeah.
And I remember they asked me, that was like, it sounds like you thought about this a lot. And I was like, yeah, we talk about it all the time at work. But then someone did bring up, there was like a particular, I don't think they brought it up on the radio, but there was, or maybe they did, but there was a particular like version of, it's all different like zombie lore. There was one like version of zombies where they walk underwater. They just go like, and they can just, and they actually like do that. They go up, they climb up fucking
the chain,
climb up the chains of boats. So that fucked me up. I lost sleep over that thought. But hopefully, the zombie world that happens,
it's not
with
them
my
types.
apocalypse will not be them types. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Well,
Hopefully.
listeners, write in. What would you do if you had a boat and a zombie?
Yes, send us a text, and you can send that text to the phone number
07470184383 07470184383.
The phone number will play.
Yeah. Apart from if it was that other episode the other week where
I forgot
went
to
out
overlay the phone number,
and there's
yeah.
just a gag with us going.
It's like 11 seconds of silence. Or whatever, yeah. Right, Faz, tell us more about this alligator and his thirst.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mention about like the wranglers, because they did call the local wrangler known as Ray the Trapper, who was able to get the
Classic
situation
trapper
under
name.
control.
Bit like Jake what was that guy? Jake the
Snake.
what was it? The logger.
Oh, Travis the logger.
Travis the logger. Ray the wrangler. That's good.
Yeah. I love it.
It's a good wrangler name.
Great Ray. No, his name's Ray the Trapper.
Oh, even better. Sorry.
Ray the Trapper. Yeah,
Easier to
Trapper
say.
Ray.
Yeah.
So to get to the crucial part of the headline, even though it was now out of their hair, however, the alligator was still making life difficult for the couple, as it had gotten into a box of Diet Coke and made a mess in the garage. The couple said that they were preparing for an upcoming party and had drinks banked up for the occasion. Karen goes on to say, there was Diet Coke spewing everywhere because the gator was interested, tore open the box and had a few cans. Probably thought it was beer, maybe.
Yeah, that's what he thought. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a concept of that. People have sent me texts and emails. Gator girl. They have all these comments. Crikey, mate. What a great birthday present, Karen. The alligator has since been safely relocated by the Trapper Service. Perfect.
Thanks. Good Ray. Good old Ray. Ray the
What a
Trapper.
legend.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. I mean, the beer comment is just fantastic.
The alligator has like the wherewithal and knowledge of what beer is.
And he wants
But
to get
not
turned.
what
He wants to
Diet
turn
That must
up.
have happened. Yeah, that must have also happened. An alligator's accidentally banged some. Like, I wonder what animals have got accidentally drunk. Like, I wonder what the biggest animal to get accidentally drunk is.
Well, no, they do this in the animal kingdom. There's some monkeys do it, and there are some other animals as
I
well.
don't
I
know, get
can't
high off
remember.
plants and
Oh,
stuff.
dolphins do as well. Yeah, so the
Yeah,
monkeys
with that
will
like
deliberately.
pufferfish.
Yes, and the monkeys will wait for the fruit to be fermented, and then they'll eat it deliberately, and it will
Get
make
fucked
them go get high.
Yeah, me and Tom were actually on the drive the other day. We were talking about drunk monkeys. Was that you and I?
No, what?
No.
I didn't know where that was going to go. Me and Tom, we always waiting for our fruit to ferment and get high off it.
No, I was talking
We've
about
actually
it
got some fruit
with-
brewing in Tom's boot now.
I was talking about it with someone on a drive.
What, monkeys getting drunk?
There's like a Attenborough about it where they like there's a certain breed of monkeys. It might be me and Gina that get drunk like on purpose. There's like a resort and they where there's like monkeys live amongst humans. It was on like one of the Attenboroughs where it was called like humans and like their impact on nature. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But like there's a certain like this like group of monkeys that have just started like actually like grabbing alcohol and drinking it, and it's an interesting statistic of like the amount of monkeys, the percentage of monkeys that end up being alcoholics was like similar to the percentage of humans that do, and some just didn't even touch it, others had a little bit and stayed away, and others just got bang on it.
When
Yeah.
you said it's a resort, I thought you meant for the monkeys, like they pay an all-inclusive fee and then they go.
Yeah, it's like the saga holidays for monkeys.
Yeah. They got a
Go
little
to-
swim up pond that like, they go up to, and
Yeah,
there's
like poolside bar.
yeah, and there's another monkey sat there with a little banana leaf over his shoulder, like well, fermented fruit. Yes, mate. Yeah. All right. Mine's got a segue into that.
Go for it.
Real smooth, classic smooth segue as always. From eating fermented fruit to eating feces.
Oh, God.
So,
All right.
so mine's pretty classic Curios, really. Lawford actually sent it in the OG Curios group to me and George. So, because George isn't here, I thought I'd do it. It's pretty fucked up, actually. It's basically, the headline is, it was doing the rounds a little bit. I saw it on quite a few things. I've actually read the article from Thai Inquirer, which I think was actually the source, because it's in Thailand, the story. Leader of feces-eating cult arrested after 11 dead bodies discovered during raid.
Oh, man.
I nearly picked this story today.
Yeah, it's quite deep, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, and I didn't because it seemed quite sad.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You've done it anyway.
It's not that funny, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so, I mean, I won't go into too much detail, perhaps. We'll skirt around the edges of it. But it's basically like this cult leader, or it's a suspected cult leader. Sounds like he's a cult leader. In the Chiapam province, they basically raided a compound, but then while they were there, they discovered at least 11 dead bodies.
Wow.
But they were bodies that were like that they'd been put in like there were remains that had been buried. But
Oh, that's right.
yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, I guess they were
What's
cult
the big
members.
deal?
Yeah. This is a bit for. However, the group was only able to provide death certificates belonging to 5 of the 11 of the deceased. So they've ordered autopsies to be conducted to establish the causes of death. I mean, maybe eating shit. So he's been detained for questioning. Many of his followers were trying to stop him. So he's like an old dude. It says they were like up in arms because they're still like obviously devoted followers. But yeah, they had like a sort of. It says here they conduct themselves in a religious-like manner, where devotees of the father, Taiwi Nanra, 75, would do almost anything for him. Some say he would force his followers to drink his urine, eat his feces, and consume dirt in order to heal physical illnesses.
Why have you
So, I
picked
mean,
this?
So we've
just had a
touched
cat,
we've touched, obviously we know about urine therapy. We know about the wonders of urine therapy and how that can heal everything. So I guess, you know, that's going on. Like we obviously know that part works, but the eating of the feces is a new one. It's funny how even in the urine therapy group, some of them are like, eating feces is ridiculous. Like, obviously.
I was in some museum like a week ago or something.
Cult, yeah.
And in this museum, there was a whole bit about like the human body or something. I don't know. And there was a bit that was about eating feces. And it's been used as like actual treatment for, I was about to say for shit, not for shit, but for stuff. And like, you basically eat the shit of people who have good gut bacteria. If your gut bacteria is bad, and it puts the good gut bacteria in and helps your gut bacteria grow or something.
See, I have actually heard about this, but people do it in a more legitimate, I think, like medical procedure. It's like a fecal transplant. You don't actually eat it.
Yeah, and then they shove it up you.
They swap it out somehow. I think they even cut you up and swap out like.
Yeah, I think this was showing like how people done it in the past.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually like read that bit. I just kind of saw it, and they had like some items on display of like how people used to do it, and it was literally like Vaseline and like a big baster thing, and then some shit, and they used to just like squeeze it up in you.
Wow.
Oh no!
But I guess with the whole gut, it comes with the whole like gut microbiome thing in it, and there's actually probably some.
Just have a Yakult.
Just have a Yakult.
I had a French teacher before who said she had a friend who was so constipated it came out her mouth.
Impossible.
What?
That's
like
impossible.
South Park, isn't it? Doesn't happen on South Park?
I think it does happen on South Park actually. But she, I mean, I don't know how credible she is, but she spoke French well. But she, I remember I looked it up, and I think it is actually true. Like,
No, it's not.
I think it is.
No, your intestine is so long. There's no way that you're going to be backed up enough that it's going to go all the way around your spaghetti junction, up your trap. No, I'm
think
sorry.
what
That's
happens.
bollocks.
I think what
that's
happens
absolute bollocks.
is
That.
you're
I don't
blocked
care how
up.
well she spoke French.
You're blocked up, and then it's obviously in like the bottom of your intestines, and I think your stomach like stops sending stuff through because it knows it's blocked up. So then like it starts coming back up here. And then, like, obviously, you start being sick a lot, and you're being sick with just like stomach bile and stuff. But then eventually, like, the shit comes out. I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not. No.
my French teacher was telling me this when I was 14, but
Yeah, how did that come up?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
You had to say it back to her in French. La feces.
La poupou.
Yeah, and then it basically then goes on to talk about some other, like, how cult practices are like fairly common in like Thailand. And he says about this one, which is mad. He says, last year an elderly monk decapitated himself with a homemade device in attempt to reincarnate as a higher being. His followers helped him build the contraption and helped him commit suicide.
Wow.
So I guess it's like a guillotine type device he made.
Yeah.
That's far out, isn't it? But yeah, apparently it's gone viral with a hashtag in a Thai language.
why is there a hashtag?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. There's a hashtag behind it. I think it's hashtag father. Because I think they called this guy father.
It sounds very like Manson-esque. Like,
I mean, a lot of
the
cults.
poo eating, but like it's all the same sort of like fundamental steps, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
well, that's kind of all
cult 101.
Cult, yeah, it's a big cult 101, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's so apparently there's a Twitter user pointed out the one who exposed this cult was a celebrity. It was a celebrity volunteer who helped uncover suspicious religious cases rather than local authorities. So I guess like someone doing like investigative journalism maybe is what that means. It's just been translated funny. But yeah, they reckon several people talking about it as a failure of Thailand's educational system, notably in the area of hygiene. I don't know what. I think it's all quite translated a bit different, like saying why do people think that eating shit and drinking piss is okay. But I imagine it's not. I think this is obviously a very small percentage. They're saying it like this is a problem.
Yeah, all of Thailand are just eating each other's shit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a widespread problem of cults. Maybe is more what they're talking about. And people are more susceptible to the idea of perhaps being in a cult. I don't know why it mentions hygiene. It could just be really lost in translation.
Yeah.
Check the link I sent. Can you throw up poop?
Yeah,
it's possible to. While it sounds unpleasant and unusual, it is possible to vomit up your own fecal matter. It's known as feculent vomiting.
No, because it says a 1956 study, and I read that and I closed the tab, and I prefer to be ignorant on matters of throwing up actual shit.
Last time we had a thing from like 90. Remember, it was my like the soul.
Yeah, your soul. Yeah, that's I did that one.
Soul, yeah,
you was there for that, weren't you?
That was so interesting, though. I mean, obviously, I'll be respectful, but I don't personally believe that is a weighted thing. But yeah, that was very interesting. Well done, Rob.
Gingers have soul. Makes me good at. Do you remember that video?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've tried to get him on.
Have you?
Yeah, we'll see.
Because it was a bit, wasn't it? Like it was watching it back later. It was definitely a bit. He was doing a bit. He wasn't serious.
I don't think so. Yeah, he was definitely doing a bit, and like he obviously capitalized on it and done more stuff and whatever. Yeah. But he's made like a comeback recently. Like he went offline for ages, and then he's like, I think he transitioned to a woman, but now he's a man and has married a woman, and it's all very confusing. Can't keep up this modern world.
Didn't South Park do a little bit on him? Did I imagine that?
Yeah, that's. Yeah. I think that's where the whole thing. No,
because it was about Cartman, but didn't South Park then go like meta with it, and didn't
back
they?
And forth.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I imagine that. Maybe someone just put him in a South Park made him look like a South Park cartoon. I don't know.
Anyway, who else is eating shit?
So we spoke about suntanning your bumhole on the podcast a couple times, I think.
We actually had a text in about it, didn't we?
We did have a text in, yeah. It was from Push Up Paul saying that he will not be doing that because he's too pale. And he shouldn't do this either. Testicle tanning.
Oh.
So yeah, we've spoke about bumhole sunning. Now there's a testicle tanning thing I found.
Fad.
Yeah, well basically, so I don't know if you guys know Tucker Carlson. He's like a right-wing political commentator in America and just also chats a lot of shit a lot of the time. And I think he had someone on his show talking about like red light therapy and which does have like actual benefits and stuff to it. But someone went on and started talking about how if you tan your testicles, it will raise your testosterone. So go out in the sun, get your balls out, and you'll become more of a man.
Wow.
You know, tan your balls, raise your testosterone levels.
Of course.
And
do you have to get a tan, or is it just by nature of warming them?
I think it's the UV rays. So because
the vitamin D direct to the D.
Vitamin to the B.
Yeah. Because I think there is a lot of actual evidence out there that being in the sun, getting vitamin D in your body and getting UV exposure does help with your testosterone levels. Or at least if you have a deficiency of vitamin D and UV exposure, then that lowers your testosterone levels.
Yeah.
So the theory is going out in the sun, mostly just being like healthy, like going out in the sun every now and then, you know, is good for everybody's body, but it helps with your testosterone levels. But he heard this thing about red light therapy, and basically, like, I think the person went on the show and said, red light therapy, I think it's basically like sunbeds really. And he heard like, oh yeah, go and basically get it all over your body, and somehow just took that as suntan your balls and was talking about testicle tanning. And he was talking to someone about testicle tanning right before interviewing Kid Rock, and there's a funny clip where he's like, oh yeah, tan your testicles, haha. He's like, hey Kid Rock, and then Kid Rock like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, I can't, what are you talking about? And he's like, really like not wanting to talk about testicles. It's quite a funny little clip. Well, yeah, what do you guys think?
I mean, I'll give anything a go once.
Yeah,
but I mean, I would think my testicles are already the darker point of my skin, so I'm not sure how much darker I want to take him. I'll be honest.
Yeah, ball skin is darker than most other skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's not really your field of expertise, is it, Faz? Really?
I mean, I wish I could experience.
You've seen them, though.
Yeah, probably more than you have.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
well, maybe. No, I don't know. There's so much to unpack with this particular story. It is. I mean, once again, it's just a load of bollocks, isn't it? Both the subject matter. I mean, that's quite dangerous though, because you could. Yeah, you
think you're more likely to actually fry them, isn't it? Aren't you supposed to actually like run your balls under the cold tap if you're trying to conceive? I thought that was like a thing that people said. I remember it was like, I remember there was like a whole thing where people wanted millennium babies, like they wanted to have babies. So there was like one night there was a whole like. I remember when I was younger, it was like a TV
sometime
special
in March
about
of '99. Everyone's like turning on their cold taps.
Yeah, well, I just remember I got this like weird memory of like there being like it was like a thing on TV that night. It was like conception night for millennium babies, and like all that. There was like, when they do like when it used to be in like the 90s, early 2000s when TV was a thing, it was like you'd have like, you might have a theme for the evening, like comic relief, the whole evening of comic relief based TV, and this was like millennium babies themed TV. It was like the whole night was about it, and they had like an expert on, or helps tips of conception, and I just remember them saying about running your balls under a cold tap.
I like that stuck with you 22 years later.
Why is that stuck with me? That's so weird, isn't it?
So yeah, I don't know how true that is and how much that would affect your inner workings of your ball bags, but it is true that like sperm doesn't survive at warm temperatures, and that's like the whole reason why it's hanging outside is to be cooler than the internal temperature of your body. Like if you get your balls too warm, that can cause infertility. And there is actually studies that show that people like bus drivers who sit on top of like a hot engine all day do have lower sperm counts than those who don't sit in like hot areas.
It's bad for you to sit with your laptop on your lap. It's a bad name for a device, isn't it? Because they do not like being on your lap.
No.
It should really be called a
desktop.
No,
yeah,
like
cushion
a folding computer.
Tray top.
Tray top, yeah. Vented fan tray top. I don't know.
Perfect.
I should go to marketing, shouldn't
A lot of doctors have had to come out and say, don't stick your balls out in the sun.
Yeah.
I like when these doctors come out and say this.
Yeah, always come out with the best advice. Yeah.
Do you reckon they've got a group chat and they just send each other stupid stuff? They're like, fucking hell, not again.
Do you think it's for like articles like this? There must be one guy who's like, just call a doctor. Any old, like just get a quote from a doctor. Like they just rang around a few. A lot of them are just like, fuck off. One's like, yes, obviously do not do that.
Yeah. Yes, don't put your testicles in the sun.
Quote.
No, don't try and fight an alligator. No, don't eat shit. Like just all day answering stupid
Busy
questions.
day.
Yeah. What fucking shit podcast you been listening to? But some shit bollock podcast. Yeah, I mean, go out in the sun, get some vitamin D, but do not stick your ball bags out in the sun.
I mean, you're supposed to wear SPF anyway. I mean, that's just bad for your skin all round.
See, I read the other day, interesting. I saw someone post online.
Must be true.
Yeah. But like, where it was like a sort of memey thing. It was like, oh, people are worried about not getting vitamin D. And then they're like, showed pictures of people covered in like sun cream and that. And it was almost like, idiots. And I was like, is that really a thing? Is it really bad? Does it really block getting vitamin D? No. And then I read it and it actually does.
I think minorly though.
No, I don't know. I read a Harvard article and it was like, basically like yeah, like it does block it, but it didn't really go on. Like it was just really answering that question. I'm sure if you really asked, the net benefit of wearing sun cream would outweigh.
Oh yeah.
But
100%.
And going outside with sun cream on, you'll still get more vitamin D than sitting indoors and not going outside.
Not going out at all.
Yeah. And it's all the other benefits, isn't it, of being in the sun? Like,
it's just nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like not being sunburned is also nice.
Yeah. I tell you what, I was always a bit of a dick to people with sunburn because never in my life, because of the Persian blood flowing through my veins, like we just reflect the sun like naturally as a race. And I went to Zante maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Was still fine. Halfway through the trip, we went on like one of those boat rides you can go to and visit, like Turtle Island and those things. Did that, was wearing shorts, got back to the hotel and had a shower, and it actually felt like someone was stabbing my leg when the water was just hitting my thigh. And I remember saying to like the person I was with, I was like something has happened to me and I'm in like a huge amount of pain. And they were like, yeah, it's sunburn. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm in excruciating pain. He was like, yeah, you've been sunburnt. But up until that point, I'd been that dick that was like slapping people's burns.
I was the same. I didn't get a sunburn until I was about 22, 23.
Yeah.
Never had it. And I just thought everyone who had a sunburn was just being a fucking baby. And I just think, grow up, man. Like, it's the sun. Like, everyone gets a bit red and like
how did
it's
you
a
not
little
get a
bit
sunburn?
Tender, but like grow up. And then one day, real bad sunburn on my back and my shoulders and like my neck. And I was like, oh, I can't move.
How did you go that long without getting sunburned? Like, you just never really went in the sun that much, or did you like always apply like religiously sun cream, or like what?
Yeah, I think I've just always been. I always put sun cream on when I go abroad, like if I go somewhere sunny. But then also I tan relatively well as well. Like once I've got that like tan a little bit, like if I've been in the sun for like a little bit, then I probably won't really burn. But
she's got the old base tan, eh?
Yeah, but yeah.
It's humbling though, isn't it?
I've
never been so humbled.
It is. I was humbled. Yeah. I get sunburnt fairly. I always make sure I put cream on because I do get sunburnt. I actually got sunburnt and I was in like the metro. That like I know a guy that works for like the sort of like photo editing desk, I guess, or whatever. Like he does like photo editing for articles on like basically kind of like the thumbnails. He kind of like does them for the metro. And he just basically put a thing on Facebook saying, anyone got any pictures from sunburn this weekend? It was like one of the first like classic like really hot weekends and thinking. I was like, yeah, I got one, and he was like, sick, because I'd gone out on my bike. I'd cycled like 60 miles on my bike, and I did it like with no t-shirt on and a backpack, and I had like this classic like cyclist sunburn as well. Like half of me, just like this half of the back was red, and it was like a backpack burn as well over just one half. And I was such an idiot, and he'd clearly made it look worse as well. Like in the article, he'd like saturated the reds and that
contrast. Yeah.
There was just like a collage of loads of people with sunburn, and yeah. I'll see if I can dig it out. I don't know where I'd have that photo.
What a claim. What a claim to fame.
I know, mate. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing.
Nice one. Well, that was, very insightful episode of the Curios Cast. I think we learned a lot about what we shouldn't be doing with our bodies, animals we shouldn't be messing with, you know.
And what crocodiles like to drink. Alligators.
Alligators, yeah.
No, they don't like to drink alligators, but it was an alligator.
We ain't got a clue about crocodiles. Don't come here for your crocodile.
No, I could probably take one of them.
What's actually bigger? I always think that
alligators
are bigger, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think still get some pretty fucking big crocodiles, though, right?
Well, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's not like a shrew.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for joining,
Thanks for coming, Faz. Yeah.
Thanks
Big
for
up yourself.
Filling in for George last minute. Hopefully,
thanks, gang.
Comes down from his anal mushroom trip and he can join us next week. Hopefully.
Hashtag pray for George. Find your way out of that
pray
whale.
For George. Hashtag Thai fecal eating cult. Yeah. Send us a text on the phone number 07470 184 383. That number again is
07470 184 383. 07470 184 383.
Try remember so. Yeah. That has been episode 83 or something of the Curios Cast. Join us next week for episode 84 of the Curios Cast.
Bye.
Bye.